Hi there. Welcome, everybody. This is another session with lovely Cindy, our nutritionist from LOVJOY Pilates and bechamphealth. I'm very excited today because we're going to be offering 3 options for leaky bladders. Of course, we always want to help you guys. So let's go a little bit quickly into our bladder and pelvic floor anatomy. So this is a female pelvis. Clearly, you can see there's the uterus in the middle. We have the intestinal tube going into the rectum, and then we have our bladder, which sits exactly behind our pubic bone for extra protection. But see how squished this little bladder is, right? Is actually human size as well. Well, yeah, small human size. And so what happens, my option number 1 that I have for you guys is postural alignment. Of course, exercise will come next. But imagine you are working hard, mama, or a modern businesswoman on your computer at work or traveling on the plane or in business meetings, long meetings, conference, all that stuff, and you're having accommodated a really bad posture with your pelvis, and you're not keeping everything aligned on top of each other. Ideal posture we're talking about is hips, ribs, and head on top. If any of it is misaligned, then it's going to come into your pelvic floor muscles, and it's going to affect all the functions of the pelvic floor. And that's why we start to have leaking bladders. And that means, what does it mean? Little accidents when you're coughing or sneezing or even laughing, running, jumping. And we don't want that for you guys. So number 1 option is posture and the ABCs of the Pilates method. So these are alignment, breathing, and control. So LOVJOY Pilates helps with this number 1 option. That's why we're here. I offer about 10 classes weekly, happening live, streaming live from the LOVJOY app. And Tuesdays, I have a special pelvic floor class. So if you only want to do one, I recommend this one. We use a soft Pilates ball, which is amazing for strengthening. Cindy already knows about this one. And let's jump quickly into option number 2. This one is all about your lifestyle, ladies. So I don't know who is listening here. If you are 40 plus and you're still drinking excessive amount of alcohol or coffee, or even loving spicy food, guilty for that. Spicy food, caffeine, and alcohol can irritate your bladder and start causing inflammation and trouble down there. So combine that nutrition factor with these liquids, and then plus bad posture and zero exercise and a lot of stress. And of course, the stress also affects our bladder, but this is for another video. So the lifestyle options, I wanted to start monitoring the times, manage the times where your bladder is emptied. Can you check if it's every 2 or 3 hours? This is ideal. You want to avoid going just in case. You don't want to provoke the bladder if it's not ready. So you want to really respect the 2 to 3 hours window. So study how often do you go and train yourself to go every 2-3 hours. And of course, the bedtime story. So the 3-2-1 lifestyle I want to suggest for you guys: eat a meal 3 hours before bed, empty your bladder or drink your last drink 2 hours before bed, and of course, empty your mind from screens and superficial light 1 hour before bed. So that's the lifestyle option I offer for you guys. So we got posture and exercise, Pilates method, lifestyle changes, and I'm going to lead you to Cindy. Did you even know, which is the hottest subject, so thank you for staying till the 3rd option. Did you know that parasites can actually affect your bladder, and that there is this tiny little worms that they can get into that region and cause infections and cystitis and inflammation and making you need to go regularly when you actually don't have anything to empty, right? And you have that urge, that burning sensation. So Cindy, tell us what is going on, why there is parasites even down there. What's going on? Educate.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that parasites are contained in their gut, when you think of roundworms, tapeworms, pinworms, but there are also microscopic parasites that you can only see through a microscope, and those are one-cell organisms that can be in contaminated water. They can be from your pets. They can even be airborne. They can actually form like a cyst. They call it a cyst, a protective layer, and it can get into the air. And once you inhale it or once you consume it with water or contaminated foods, I mean, that can just go into your digestive system and then get into your blood flow. Once it's in your blood, it can travel anywhere in your body. It can go into your liver. There's liver flukes that go in the liver, and then they can actually block the bile duct, and they can increase risk of liver and gallbladder cancers, but they can also travel into your urinary tract and get into your bladder. And if it gets into your bladder, some of the symptoms could be like frequent urination. They can create little bits of infections because they actually burrow into the lining of the bladder. And then because they breach the lining, their bacteria can get into it and infect the area. So you could get blood in your urine. That's another symptom. If you do have parasites that infiltrate, that could cause issues with sleep. You can get sleep disturbances. You can have that urge to go and, burning in while you're urinating. And that also can disrupt your gut microbes because the bacteria there can cause inflammation in your gut as well. And if you have the inflammation, then it can also pose extra strain on your pelvic floor. So that could also be another reason why you would leak, bladder leaking and accidents like that. And yeah, I mean, these parasites, they could be easily gotten rid of by herbs. I mean, there's certain herbs that are well known to kill off these parasites, like wormwood, for example. If you want me to share my screen, I can do that too.
In the end, curious, please. What you
Yeah,
have.
sure. Sure. I mean, there's so many different kinds of parasites. Some of them come from your pets, even just letting your pets lick your face or sleeping with the pets or not washing your hands after you clean the litter box, things like that. Or even if you don't cook your meats properly, they can stay in the meat and then you would consume that and get it infected in your GI tract. And again, it could then travel in different places. Some of the most potent herbs to kill worms and the larva and the eggs, because you want to target the whole life cycle, right? The eggs, the babies, and then the grown up. So the wormwood is usually found in the blends of parasite supplements. Black walnut hull is very well known to kill parasites. Cloves are known to destroy the eggs and also help with bloating and other microbes. But then there's different foods like garlic, oregano, papaya seeds, actually. If you ever see, those round balls,
Yeah.
they're super bitter. You can save them. If you ever eat papaya, you can freeze them and then, if you need it, you can then consume it, put it in a blender. Pumpkin seeds, also antiparasitic. There's also grapefruit seed oil. Black seed oil is great. It actually can destroy the biofilm because don't forget, sometimes the parasites hide in the film of your digestive tract. So even if you do a stool sample, you might not see it, or a urine sample, you might not see it because they're hidden in the biofilm. So it's important to do a cleanse with these herbs. I put ivermectin because that's been known to kill parasites as well. And most holistic practitioners, they would tell you that even if you take medication, usually it's a few days. It's like, ivermectin is usually 3, 4 days, right? But then after you kill off the grown-up worms, it's good to follow up with a herbal remedy. And usually that's like maybe 30 days or something like that. And it's good to do it over like a course of the full moon because during the full moon, the parasites become more active. So take note, see if you get more cranky around the full moon, if you can't sleep as well around the full moon. The reason is because during the full moon, your serotonin is a little bit higher, and the parasites love that. And your melatonin, which is good for your immune system, is lower. So your immune is a bit weaker, and that's why the parasites come out. So this product, I love this product. I've done it twice already. My husband's done it. This is Super CleansR by Purium. And it has black walnut hull. It has the clove, the wormwood. I like it because the dose is pretty high. It's 518 milligrams for the black walnut. And you just need to take it for 10 days. And then you pause for 20 days and then you repeat it for another 10 days. But one thing to note is that when you do a parasite cleanse, make sure you're not feeding those critters while you're trying to kill them. You don't want to feed them and strengthen them, right? So you have to cut out the sugar, just like you said, Alexandra, cut out the alcohol, and try not to have any kind of, undercooked meats, like no sushi. Just try not to have pork if possible, because pork has parasites and they can actually travel to your brain. And so if you go off with this product, there's different ways that you can do it. There's a whole system in place to cleanse your parasite. Plus they also have a good probiotic because you want to balance back that gut bacteria. And you also want to help your sleep so you can heal. So this is the cherry juice. It has some green drinks so you can support your liver for detox. And I did compare it to different companies. So there's one in British Columbia called Real Raw Food and the Stonehouse Holistic. I think it's in Ontario. But it's hard to see here. But if you look at the ingredients, like this one has 26 different organic herbs, but they're very small dose. So like black walnut is 46 milligrams. The wormwood is about 23 milligrams. And it's fine as a maintenance. I actually have this at home. And by the way, if you buy a lot of this, you can freeze them. And if you need it, you could just open up the capsules, mix it in water and drink it like a herbal drink, which I love to do in the morning and at night, just as a maintenance to keep them at bay. And then Alexandra, one thing to note is because parasites are everywhere, it's like any microbe, right? It could be in the air, it could be in nature, on the soil. So we're not trying to eradicate all parasites in our body because let's be realistic, like you need to live in nature, right? But it's more about balance. It's more about not allowing this to become overgrown and take over your body. And then you become so tired because parasites can actually suck your nutrition, could deplete your iron, it could deplete your nutrients. And so when you have things like, irritation in the bladder, that's already an indication that something is not right. It could be yeast or candida, but it could also be parasites that can cause those irritations. So yeah, these are just some charts for people who like to do a very systematic cleanse. They can write down their mood, their bowel movements, and they could really see some progress. I would say most people after a parasite cleanse, they usually feel less bloated, they have better skin, more brain clarity, and definitely less cravings. Because parasites, they can get you to be super, super hungry at very strange times. Like even if you finish a meal, let's say, and then like an hour later, you're so hungry again. Or you have a craving in the middle of the night. These are very weird symptoms. And yeah, so if you do a parasite cleanse, it could really help with your sleep too. Because then you're less anxious at night. And some people, they tend to drool in their sleep. Did you know that that's a sign that you could have parasites if you drool in your sleep?
What? I thought if you're really, really tired, it's like you're drooling because you're exhausted and you can't even.
Usually, we don't say that one symptom is direct correlation. But if you have that one and you have like an itchy bum, and then you may have like fatigue, now you're looking at more and more symptoms. Now you can really correlate it. But drooling and also teeth clenching, like in your sleep, if you're very like anxious, that could be a parasite as well. So I'm just going into more details, but this was a webinar that I did the other day and it's on my channel. So if you go to bechamphealth, you can see the webinar, but you might hear of different things that people do to help with like urinary issues or parasites in the gut. So they would probably get something like a biofilm buster. That's something that gets rid of that slime so that the eggs have nowhere to hide. So it could be like black seed oil or enzymes, serapeptase. Some people need laxatives because you can't be constipated to do a parasite cleanse. You really want the dead parasites to come out. So with the Purium product, there's laxatives in there built into the parasite cleanse. So it helps you go. And then there's different things like humic acid that kind of bind the dead parasite and then they escort them out. So that's also in the Purium product, in the probiotic. They have humic acid. And then there's people who do colonics, like they'll do an enema during a parasite cleanse. So these are like extra things. You don't have to, but if you want to get that extra step, let's say you're very constipated and you haven't done a parasite cleanse ever in your life, maybe you want to do some extras during that time.
Wow. And for sure, you need to do some Pilates, cozy Pilates to relax before you get the enemas. And then, yeah, oh, wow, that's a lot of information, but very useful. So knowledge is power, you guys. So we
Yep.
have solutions, practical solutions. And I just realized a fourth option, but we can talk about it on the next video.
Oh no, you're gonna keep it a mystery. You'll have to tune back in to find out.
Yes, it's exciting. Actually, I just discovered this option, so I want to tell the world. So yes, we're gonna do that in the next video. You guys need to keep following. So if you want, subscribe, Biome Health and LOVJOY Pilates, and together we always come together, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, right, Cindy? And we share what we discovered because we are always growing our knowledge and we always try to find the solutions, best solutions for you guys.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you next time. Any questions, any comments, they're going to be in the bottom below. Feel free to ask us. We respond quite fast. Thank you, Cindy.
So I'll include the links also of the products below.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.